Hi guys, it's Owen here from InvestinU again with some great tips, tricks and shortcuts for you. Today we're going to be using Excel again. Obviously, as you probably know at this stage, my favorite Microsoft Office application. Today's tip, again, probably one of my favorites. Really cool kind of trick to have in your armory when it comes to working with Excel. So rather than talking about it, let's get stuck straight in. So I'm just going to go over to my Excel spreadsheet here. So you can see I've got a very basic spreadsheet, no data in at the moment for our sales breakdown for InvestinU for 2020. Now, first thing I'm going to say here is, well, look, I have this. I'm now going to start putting all my figures in for 2020. 2021 rolls around, okay? So I now need the exact same spreadsheet with the exact same formatting, all my lovely, you can see my lovely, spent hours designing this obviously, but my lovely formatting, my logos, and you can see I've got formulas in here too. So obviously now I want to duplicate this. Now the most common way that people will do this when it comes to Excel, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this one, is you'll highlight the data, yeah, and copy and paste. Now, as a lot of you know, and I'm sure you've all done it at some stage, is when you copy and paste from one sheet to another, what happens? Well, actually, you find a lot of times your formulas don't come over correctly, your columns. So in actual fact, what you do, you find yourself, when you've copied and pasted it over, you're resizing everything again. So you spend 5 or 10 minutes trying to tidy it up so it looks like what you just copied across. So the tip I'm going to give you, absolutely super one to have, duplicating. What is the best way to duplicate? I mean, and as I said, there are lots of different ways you can do it. You can do the highlight and copy paste that I mentioned. There's also the other one that a lot of people would use, and that's come down to the worksheet tab, 2020 here. Right click and use the option here called move or copy. But then you've got to tick the box that says create a copy, tell it where you want to move it to. So obviously the tip I'm going to give you is make it much easier. And here it is here. If you select the worksheet, so I'm coming down to the worksheet, left click on it, you can see the little white sheet appears. Okay? So I'm left clicking on the worksheet tab. Now just before I drag this, I'm going to move this. I'm going to hold down my control key at the same time. Now you might just be able to see that there's a little plus sign appeared on that sheet now. So I'm left clicking, holding down my control key at the same time. I'm going to drag this across one place. I'm going to keep the finger on the control key and let go of the left mouse button. And look what it does. Absolutely super. Duplicates the worksheet. So all I now have to do is rename this one, double click, 2021. I mean, how brilliant is that? A simple look, I'll do it again. Now I need 2022, so I left click, hold down my control key, drag and drop, and you can see now I can call that one 2022. And again, you can just save yourself a whole heap of time when it comes to these things. Here's the other thing, just to consider. And this is one thing I talk to a lot of my clients about. If I just get rid of these two sheets here, and I'm just going to delete those there. So I'm going to go back to 2020. Now, I'm going to put in 2020 here, and I'm going to start putting in all my figures and formulas will start working away. Now, 2021 rolls around. So what happens? I then duplicate 2020, which means I'm duplicating all the figures, which means I now have to go in and start deleting all these figures so I can start putting in my 2021 figures. So, my recommendation here, just to add to this tip, to make this tip a bit better, is to take that first sheet you create with all your lovely formatting and logos and formulas and call that your template sheet. So I'm going to call this one my template sheet, watch. So every time now, watch, I want to start putting my figures in for 2020, left click, control from the template, look, drag and drop, call that 2020. Brilliant. Now when I need a 2021, don't duplicate 2020, go back to your template sheet, left click, control, drag and drop, and you've got your 2021. I mean, how good is that? Believe it or not, guys, this tip gets even better. Okay, I'm going to open up a brand new workbook. I'm just going to use my lovely shortcut key, Control N. You can see completely unrelated. Now, a couple of months, couple of weeks, couple of days go by, and you now need a nice formatted, formulated little table. And you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I've already done the hard work in a previous workbook. So again, what do most people do? They're back in here and they're right clicking, they're maybe moving the mover copy to choose the workbook and so on and so forth. They're trying to copy and paste it. Or you could simply do this. Watch this. If I go into my View tab, I use a button here called Arrange All. Now what Arrange All does is, any workbooks that I've currently open, I can ask to tile them. I always go with the tile, the default, and I click OK. and it sits the two current workbooks that I have open side by side. Now just be careful here, guys, that if you had 10 or 20 workbooks open at the time of doing that, guess what? All 10 or 20 will get tiled. In this case, last month's or last year's workbook, this year's one. Watch this. Come over to my template, left click, hold down my control key, and watch this. You can drag and drop from one workbook to another. I mean, how good is that? Look, that's today's tip done. Again, guys, don't forget to like, share, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can subscribe to all of these videos on YouTube as well. Generally, when you're looking for these, you'll find us under InvestinU Ireland. Okay, you can also visit our website at www.investinU.ie. Okay, thanks a million, guys. Stay tuned for more.